Well, hello there, and this is Auntie, and let's get into a 90-Day Fiance Hunt for Love, Season 1, Episode 6. We got a lot to talk about, so let's just flat out get into it.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie. Thank you, subscribers, and my listening reviews. All in all, who have been here through the long haul. Shall we get into it? Oh, yes, we shall. It's time for Auntie Advice. Sweet old. It's time for Auntie Advice. Oh, yeah. It's time for Auntie Advice. Sweet old Auntie Advice.
Welcome back, everybody. Hoping you all had a fantastic day today. It is time for us to get into our weekly review of 90 Day Fiance Hunt for Love. Um, the boy who didn't know what bye meant. Y'all, this was a hot mess express. We started off this episode at the same place that we ended last week, with all of the crew, well, not all of the crew, but most of the crew sitting in a session talking about social media, right? And so, it's just a chilly day, and it's always a whole bunch of drama when it comes down to Jennifer, Cole, and not Rob, because Rob has not been in the middle of this mess. And I must say that it's very, very mature of Rob to not even get himself involved in it. So, Rob is sitting back and he's chilling, right? Like he's looking at all of the mess that's going on. While Jennifer is sitting there trying to defend herself and looking all crazy, right? So Elise, of course, we all know who has been hanging underneath Tiffany, wanted to spark this thing off because there is a rumor that has been spread among the peoples, right? That Elise was sleeping or having a rendezvous in the pool next door to Tiffany's room. Okay, we're gonna talk about that in another video that's coming up right after this one because I have got to. I just got to talk my talk on this. Anyway, I digress. So, of course, Tiffany is sitting back and she's looking in everybody's mouth. Now, I got a lot to say about her ass, okay? So, Elise leans over and she says, Rob, would you say that those are accurately representative of who Rob is? And she said that because they had shown these pictures of Rob, and it was pictures of Rob coming up, through social media, right? And so she was like, wait, Jen, weren't you with him? And weren't you with him and had a little sleepover? Something went down. Okay. Does he still look like that? So Jen was like, I haven't seen him, but I guess, have you seen him? I didn't have sex with him or go to his place. I think a lot of people were just coming up with, with first it was Elise, and I don't like Elise. Elise, basically this mess is supposed to be popping off on Elise. And so Colt is like, she's a good woman, all this all kind of stuff, right? Elise is a good woman. She's not an actress. She's not anybody. And so, Rob was like, okay, first of all, y'all need to chill. So they was like, it was splashy sounds coming from her. Oh my God. It was flashy sounds coming from the room and all of that, right? Because Colt now is in his face. And so Jennifer was like, okay, so are you jealous, Colt, because you don't have any interaction with anybody here, right? And so she was like, I came here for love. So Colt is like, I think you're full of bull. You won't admit that you got in the pool or anything like that, right? And so, they going back and forth and they fussing and they doing what they doing, right? And so they was like, okay, Cole just all of a sudden starts literally he went from 1 to 10, which is what Tim was saying, right? And Tim was sitting there having a good time because he was like, this is the first time I've ever seen anybody read Jen. So Tim is having himself a good time. He is laughing about this. And he was like, he literally went from 1 to 10, where and again, okay. Tim was like, I ain't never seen somebody flip their temper that quick. He said, but I gotta be honest, it's really satisfying. It's really satisfying seeing Jen get caught up, right, for once. He said he feel like he's a living iteration of Michael Jackson eating popcorn. He said like he's just loving it, right? So they like chill out, chill out, chill out, right? And so Jen was like, if I want to date somebody here, it could be anybody here, right? She was like, let me just set something clear. Even if I want to date anyone here, it's my right because I don't have a relationship. I'm not anybody's wife here. Oh, yes, you are. You are Cole's wife. Cole straight up think that this woman is his wife. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? He think that this is his wife. He has gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over this. Truly he has. Truly he has. And Rob was like, how in the whole hell? We only been here a short period of time. How you gonna fall for somebody like that? Anyway, y'all, I digress. Okay. So she was like, I'm nobody's wife. And so, I don't own anybody. I don't owe anybody anything. So Jennifer was like, not Jennifer, Tiffany, will you tell Cole that because he's the one that's getting hurt? He's getting hurt because you put the rumor out there. He's getting hurt because you were the one that was pressed to tell him downtown on the beach. You're a busybody in other people's matters and affairs, Tiffany. That's why he's acting like that. He already has a possessive personality. Jennifer sat there and told him, look, let me tell you something. You're controlling. You are controlling, and I don't like it at all. She said, if I want to be with you and we get into a relationship, then I really own you. Loyalty is the test. And so she was like, nobody can tell. So Cole was like, don't tell me anything about loyalty. Don't even go there. And Jennifer isn't loyal. But at the same time, Jennifer is doing what she can do, or what she. Okay, calm down, Auntie. Jennifer is a grown woman. That's her body. She can make a decision to do what she wants to do with it. The problem is that she's being dishonest, her and Rob. I don't understand what that is. I think that they have the mindset that if I don't owe anybody anything, right? But at the same time, you do owe people honesty. And for her to say that me and Rob, because she kept saying me and Rob haven't kissed, we haven't slept together, and Rob is going along with the storyline, but it's a bunch of bullshit. It really is. And they know that they have been together. Grown folk fess up to what they do. Like straight up, don't they, y'all? Grown folk will say that this is what they do. She told him you are controlling, but he said don't even talk about loyalty. Because when we had this conversation, right, wait a minute, he said, but you admitted you didn't. You are controlling. I'm not controlling. You're turning this back on me. And Jennifer was like, he's pushing me away with his controlling behavior. And he was like, no, that's some gaslighting bullshit that you got going on. That's what it is. You're gaslighting. She said, you're turning this back on me. I'm not. He said, you're turning this back on me. I'm not controlling you. I'm asking for honesty out of you. So in the middle of all the chaos, because they think everybody at this point is with Jen, everybody pissed off with Jen. And it's a game mentality, right? Because ain't none of them gonna stand out there on their own. Jen is steady sitting up there talking about she is now hooked up with Rob. Yes, she has. So when she was talking to Cole and Cole was saying his stuff, she was like, I think we need to take a little break from each other. And I totally agree with it. I totally agree. Hold on. So they said that now the trust is out the window. I think it's best that we just like take a little space between us, because this is getting out of control. And so they was like, you're playing the victim with everybody. I don't respect that, right? Jim was like, I just do not respect that. You're sitting up here, you got all these people around here gaslighting you, telling, hey, CB True, hey, Doc Finnegan, hey, Barbara, hey, Boo, hey, y'all, hey, Yolanda, hey, baby, Philly Fox Podcast, hey, Boo, hey, y'all. So she was like, you playing the victim around all of these people. You letting them gaslight you and pump you up. But you and I have already had these conversations. But at the end of the day, Jen, you still lying, right? But I guess you got to fight for your life out there in them whole streets, right? Okay, when you out there doing your little thug thizzle stuff, okay, because she is thug thizzle out here. She's got these guys going back, okay? And so, they was like, you're breaking his heart. I don't like that. You don't respect Cole. And she doesn't respect Cole. And she was like, but I don't respect the victim either, because he's sitting up here acting like he's a victim. So Rob was like, okay, she's a grown ass woman. We all been here for a week. Nobody should be that upset over somebody hanging out with another person. Okay. But Tiffany was like, but it's happening. They bring that old stinky, instigating, lonely ass bitch up. But it's happening. And Rob was like, okay, that's unfortunate, but the person who's upset should check themselves. And I agree with that. Y'all let me know downtown in the comment whether or not y'all agree with that, because I agree with Rob. It's too much. It's too much. Rob was like, I don't need to be lectured by anybody. I definitely don't need to hear from Colt, okay? Colt is sitting up there screaming all up in his face. And Rob was like, this is the same man and cheated on his wife, several wives and girlfriends. Larissa, Vanessa. And he's been with many. Yes, Tiffany, Silver Goddess, you make sure you come to the next video, okay? Because we're going to talk about honey. Because my bestie gave me all a little tea. And we're going to sit up here and we're going to dissect Tiffany. Yes, we are going to dissect her. Yes, we are. And so Rob was like, so Colt sitting up here truly think he's the moral authority. And he's never done anything to slight a woman. So the instructors was like, look, we're all here to date each other. And that's the point. But also the point is learning some dating skills and actually applying them. Right. So they was like, it sounds like the communication is not going well. And it's not. And so the lady instructor was like, and it sounds like honesty is not going well at all either. Okay, so they was like, we want y'all to walk away with actual genuine connections and all of that kind of stuff. And if we're just playing each other and trying to get into the rumors and all that stuff, nobody wins. And that is so true. And then Tiffany comes out and says, I'm having a very difficult time believing that Rob and Jen slept in the same bed and there was zero contact. Tiffany, mind your business. Mind the business that pay you. How's everything going with your man? Mind the business that pay you. She is a busybody. And I see why her and her husband did not work out. Because she is just team too much. And she's in situations. First of all, okay, calm down, auntie. Let me go to the next thing. So Chantel gets invited, she really got invited last episode to go out with Joe. And so Chantel and Joe decide that they're going to go out on a little date and all of that kind of stuff. And they took Cole and Nikki with them. I mean, not Cole. They took Usman and Nikki with them, right? So they go to this little place and all of that kind of stuff. And Chantel and Joe, they decide to do a bath with some bubbles and some beer. While Colt, while Usman and Nikki go and do some type of meditation, honey. They had all kinds of so Colt is, in this room with this girl, and all this little stuff is blowing and all that. And a lady is humming and tinging and singing. And I'm just like, no, no, no. Like this right here, this is something we just not going to do. Honey, it was pitch black up in that. Okay. While Chantel and Joe, they decided they're going to get in the tub. Now, Chantel's breasts are huge. I don't know what. I don't know why she would blow her breasts up to this extent, but whatever float your boat, get it? Okay, pun intended. So anyway, she's in this, she's enjoying Joe and all of that, and she's glad that he stepped up and asked her to go out. She talks about, how he's younger than her, and he tells her he's only 25 years old. And so he was like, why would you be interested in me? And Chantel was like, I'm interested in you because you act really mature. Okay, you act really mature for your age. And so I just was like, oh, okay, whatever. Okay. And so, meantime and in between time, Usman, is in there with Nikki, and him and Nikki get out and they go and have a little thing down in the pool or some type of little tub or whatever it was. I don't know if it was jacuzzi or just a tub or whatever. And they get to talking, and she tells Usman that she's bisexual. And so Usman asked her where she wanted that. Child, what in the world? He asked her where she wanted that. And so she like, I mean, what do you say? And he said, do you want it like in doing it in the butt? And she was like, no, I mean, it's just regular. Bisexual means that I enjoy the company of both men and women. Now, later on, Usman goes on to say that he knew what that meant. He know what the hell that meant. He said that in their culture, that sex wasn't something that they really talked about. So then if they didn't, then how would he know? Right? And so anyway, in the meantime and in between time, Chantel and her little boo, they having a good time and everything. And I'm just happy for Chantel that, she's having a great time with him and stuff. So hold on, y'all. Let me go to my notes because I skipped some. So hold on. So Usman was saying when she was talking about her bisexuality, he was saying, because I have wrote that down, if I really want to be with somebody who is out of my culture, so many things I have to blend with and compromise, but it's not my type. It's not my taste to be with somebody who is into a bisexual lifestyle. I just feel like personally, I want to choose somebody who we're in the same page. And I think maybe this is telling me more that me and Cortney will be a good fit. So Usman now has decided to rule her out. Now, as we all know, there were only two reasons why he wanted to be with her. One, he thought that she was a pretty girl naturally. And two, he wanted to make Cortney jealous. Okay. And so, he said that Cortney is a better fit for him. So he needs to go hit on it that way. Okay. Um, And he says that he hopes that just the mere fact that he took Nikki out on a date will finally make Cortney jealous. Okay. He says that now I feel like he gonna pay attention to her and all of that kind of old stuff. I'm just like, okay, it is whatever. So Chantel is, in the tub and she's kissing with her little boo thing. And I'm just like, you know what, Chantel, do what you gotta do. I don't like young guys, but you know what? You like what you like, you don't like what you don't like. So after the little argument and all of that kind of stuff, that's what I really wanted to get back to. After the argument and stuff that was going on, they was all leaving. And so Jennifer was walking back to her room and everything. And next thing you know, this old damn, he's such a bitch. I cannot stand Cole. Do y'all hear me? I can't stand Cole. So Cole runs up on Jen, right? And he would say, "Hey Jen, can we talk real quick? Real quick." He said, just briefly. Everything he says is just briefly, bitch, and in the last 2 hours. And he said, "I just want to talk about what happened and get an idea where you at." And she was like, "Honestly, I just don't want to talk to your ass right now. I just want my space from you." And I don't know. She said maybe tomorrow, with some professional help, we can actually talk in a respectful way to each other. Because what happened here is that I just felt attacked by everybody, and she was attacked by everybody. And Cole, not one time. This supposed to be the man that's supposed to be her lover boy. This supposed to be her, knight in shining armor, and he never defended her. Y'all let me know downtown in the chat whether or not I'm right or I'm wrong on this. But I'm telling you right now, he never ever defended her. He never did. He let everybody attack her. He let everybody talk for him. And who wants to be with a man like that? On the after show, she was saying on the after show that when she went back and looked at the footage, right? Because there's allegations out there that she actually quit the show because of all of the stuff that was going on. Now, I don't know whether or not that's true or not, but those are the allegations in the street that she quit the show. And she was saying, basically when she went back and looked at the footage, when she's with Rob, she's happy. She's having a good time. But when she's with Cole, she's uptight. And have y'all seen that? Y'all let me know downtown in the comment section, live and in the replay, whether or not y'all agree with that. I do agree with her because it's always some bullshit that's going on with him, right? It's always something that she got to defend herself about, right? And she said, I just didn't think that it was fair that they were like so over me, like she was doing something wrong, just meeting up and knowing people. She says, we all have the right to meet everybody. Like they both are like two. She said that Rob and Cole are two different prospects. She said she want to screw Rob, but she would rather marry Cole. And Cole said that he liked it because he felt like somebody that you screw is just somebody that you throw away. But at least, with marriage, it's a prospect. But Cole, she has already been in abusive relationships, so we already know that she don't have her picker ain't good. So just you being picked by her don't mean okay. And so she just was like, oh, okay, hold on, let me put that picture back up there, honey, because she was like, okay, thank you, bye. And I was like, okay, now I do like that. I did like that. Okay. So now we go back to the little social club and all of that kind of stuff. And, Cortney is standing up there talking and running her mouth because Elise came up on her and was like, girl, they went on, they all went out on a date and all of that kind of stuff, girl. And you was X marked the spot. And she was like, who went on? And she was like, Chantel and Joe and Usman and Nikki. And she was like, I don't even know who the hell Nikki is. Like, who is Nikki? She said, I know her name is Nikki, and I think that she's like from wherever she said that she was from. But now she's feeling some kind of way because she feels embarrassed and all of that stuff because she had been wanting Usman to, ask her out on a date, and Usman hasn't done that. And she was like, how dare he go and take this girl out on a date? Right? So, of course, look who in the mess. Look who in the goddamn mess. Messy ass Tiffany. That's a messy woman. So, another thing that girlfriend was telling her, she was like, Emily said, I confronted Jim because I'm sick of getting slandered that my name was I was sleeping with Rob when it was Jen all the time. See, first of all, they don't even know if Jim was having sex with Rob in the pool. They just heard splashing going on. Anyway, I digress. And so she was like, yeah, so did she admit to sleeping with Rob? Courtney actually did. She admit to sleeping with Rob. And what happened? And she was like, no, she didn't admit to sleeping with him, but she did admit to sleeping over at his place. And she was, basically saying that ain't nothing go on with this. Okay. But we all know that something went on with her, right? Because we saw it on him. And so, they like acting like they are so daggone concerned about Colt, right? She said, Cole knows all of it. He's just like a puppy eyed for her, and he is not seeing what's going on. And so they was like, why are they being so secretive about it? And so that's when Elise and now Chantel and Joe and Usman and Nikki are on a date. And Courtney was like, what, they on a date? Their eyes almost bust about. And she was like, yeah. And she was like, are you fucking kidding me? I've been begging him to take me on a date. Who in the hell is Nikki? All I know is she is blonde and she's from Florida. Okay. She said, but I guess Usman really does have a type. And she was like, I had no idea he was even interested in anybody else because he's been telling everybody that he's into me. He's telling me he's into me. Okay. Has he been telling Nikki the same thing? Like, I feel confused about this shit. And she was like, like, was anything real between me and Usman? She said, they're in the bed bath. And she was like, yeah, they in the bed bath. And she was like, but I think that, you'll get you a little yeast infection off the bed bath. I don't think I would be in bed either, but I don't know if I would think it would give me a yeast infection. But I don't think that I would want to have been in there. But you know what? It probably was about that much being a daggone thing because it just looked like it was just bubbly or something. I love the tub though. I love those old fashioned tubs, those soaker tubs like that. I absolutely love that, right? And so Carlos has been still hanging out with Tiffany, right? And Tiffany is talking about, that situation and all of that, right? And she thinks that, hopefully he'll come around, okay? So I'm just like, Tiffany says she keeping her option open about him and all of that old kind of bull stuff. I just was like, whatever. So of course, next thing you know, Tiffany Ray comes up because she got to come with the bullshit, okay? Because she's the pot stirrer. She finds out too that that they've been out on a date, and of course she got to put her 2 cents in there, and find out. She got to find out how very devastated Chantel walks up, and Chantel is glowing, bitch. Chantel walks out. She'd have been out with her little boo thing, Joe, honey. They was all up in the tub, rubby dub dub, and all of that kind of stuff, right? So Chantel is on cloud now. She don't care what these bitches is doing, what they not doing, or anything like. Hold on, y'all. Okay. So of course she wants to get, Tiffany of course wants to get into Chantel business, find out, everything that's going on. So of course, Usman has to now have a conversation with Courtney about, what was going on and stuff like that, right? And but I noticed that Tiffany is not all up at Usman's face. She's not, really dealing with all of that kind of stuff, right? And so, of course, she goes over to, you made Courtney jealous. Goes over to Usman and tells Usman that he made Courtney jealous. She felt like, he wasn't paying her any attention, and they was, Usman to go over to her and have a conversation with her. And so Uzma was like, I'm glad that she's jealous because it means that, she likes me too. So I'll ask her out on a date and all of that kind of stuff, right? So he goes over there. And so Courtney is like, did you have fun on your date? Did you sing her song? Wait, okay, wait, but what did you do? Like she said, if that hurt, he said, if that hurt your feelings, I didn't mean to do that to hurt you. Actually, I mean, I just feel stupid because you're flirting with me and telling me you like me, telling all the girls that you like me, but then I find out you asked Nikki ass out on a date and you haven't asked me on a date yet. So you're right. So he was like, I feel bad about it and all that kind of stuff. Not giving, he said, but I feel like you wasn't giving me the attention that I needed, right? And I was seeing you playing around with Colt, okay? And anybody that Colt is with, I damn sure don't want to be with him. And I don't blame him on that. I wouldn't want to come behind Colt anyway. So, they all decided they're going to go, they all decided that, the two of them decided they all gonna go out on a date and all of that kind of stuff with each other. In the meantime, and in between time, everybody's sitting around and all of that kind of stuff. Is this the one? Hold on, let me sing. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was this new guy, this little black guy right here, and I think that his name is Jay. And Jay asked Tiffany out on a date. And I was like, okay, what kind of desperation, what kind of bullshit is the production bringing in? Because when have we ever seen this guy with Tiffany? He asked her out on a date and everything, and he's like, I'm the coolest to go out with anyway, right? And so as we all know, she's supposed to be, a dating another, two other guys, right? So daggone well, there's gonna be an issue with this bull crap right here. But she was so freaking flattered, and I was like, what do Tiffany know about going out with a black guy? I don't mean no harm or nothing like that. She's so messy, messy, messy. And I just don't see where this relationship is going to go. Okay. Tamika said, I cannot stand Tiffany. Me either. I cannot stand her ass at all. And we're going to talk about it too. We're going to damn sure talk about it. Okay. Terry said, I just think Chantel is very pretty and didn't need anything. She looks worse to me. Her breast just way too big, in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely. You know what? That's the thing about it. When people get plastic surgery and stuff like that, everybody doesn't agree with it. But it just is what it is. So Chantel and them, are active mixer and all of that kind of stuff. And her little boo thing walks up and she calls him. She says, "Babe, I can't do this. Come here, babe," and helping her with a little stuff. And they was like, what's going on with y'all? Okay, so, they was kissing and pecking and all of that kind of stuff. And I just was like, I'm happy for them. I was really happy for Chantel. Go ahead on and get your groove thing on and all of that kind of stuff. So Colty, when he finds out that, that something is going on between Usman and wait a minute, do I got a picture of their asses up here? Let me see if I got a picture, y'all, because I be liking to give y'all like a little bit of visual and stuff. So when, Colty saw Cortney talking to Usman, he realized that he had lost the game and that he had wasted a lot of time, right? And not asking her out, and all that kind of stuff. And it was just, it's just crazy the way that they mixing and mingling and all of that kind of stuff. And so then later on, we see Rob in the bedroom with Tiffany Child, and because they had the little social function, and the two of them decided, I mean, not Tiffany Jen, that they had the little social function, and the two of them decided not to go. Because one thing about it is Rob is not in the bullshit. Okay. I think that Rob knows what his limit is. And I think that he's one of them type of people like me, right? I can't argue with you for long. Matter of fact, I don't like to argue at all. And so then at that point, it's just me trying to maintain my anger and trying not to go to hell off. Like I get to that point because I don't like a whole bunch of back and forth and all of that kind of stuff. And you trying to prove your point and you saying I'm lying and I'm knowing you're lying, right? And I just don't like that kind of stuff. And so Rob has been avoiding it because every time Rob goes around these people, y'all tell the truth. Every time Rob goes around these people, it's a confrontation. And nobody wants to be in a confrontation every time they turn their monkey back. Every time Rob is around them, it's some bull crap. So of course, the word is out there on the curb that the two of them don't, when one don't come, the other one don't come, of course, right? And so it's just like, okay, if they want to be together, they could be together. I just don't understand. I think that, you have to have a certain level of maturity. And for me, Tiffany just does not have that. She is just like acting like she's on a playground with little kids. She's getting these people to behave poorly and badly, in my opinion. And yes, everybody is grown. But sometimes when there is somebody that really knows how to stir a good witch's brew, bitch. And that's what I think that Tiffany knows how to do. Tiffany knows just how to stir that pot. And every time you look up, I've noticed it, right? And I made sure that I got it. She's sitting there looking like this. And when somebody says something, she always got her goddamn mouth on it. But you too invested, baby. Baby, you too invested. You need to stand down and back the hell up off of people's relationships. Like this don't have anything to do with you. Like, what are we doing here? So anyway, Rob was in the room. Rob was in the room, talking to Jennifer and everything. Hold on. So Jennifer and Cole get up in the morning. They not a fiance, they not boyfriend and girlfriend, and these bitches gotta go through counseling. They gotta go through counseling for what? You right, Terry. You ain't never lied about that, Terry. They are giving them couples counseling. For what? Why are we in couple counseling? Why are we sitting here acting as if do y'all see that glow up? I know y'all see that glow up. Y'all need to be looking at my little beauty regimen, honey, because I'm telling you, I only been doing it for what, 2 days? Oh my God. I know y'all see that glow up. I'm doing, bitch. Check out my video if you have not already done so on my Sephora haul. See that glow up. I'm doing. God damn it, I'm doing. Anyway, it's just too much that is going on. And my whole thing is everybody is grown. I cannot imagine being somewhere with any group of people, and my sex life is a topic of discussion. Who I'm sleeping with. Colt is like, we want to know who you effing. Like, are you kidding me? Like, are we playing these games? But then they got these two sitting up there in couple motherfucking counseling. I like Tim, but in this particular part right here, I ain't gonna go deep into it. But Tim called himself starting like Elise. And I'm like, Elise may not be on Raw, but this bitch is still crazy in my opinion. Leave that bitch alone. Y'all, I cannot imagine meeting any of y'all, sitting around y'all, talking to y'all, maybe going to a camp for a week, and y'all asking me about my sex life or me asking y'all about y'all's. I don't give a damn who you, as long as you ain't using my booty to do it. You do what you want to do with your life. But don't sit up there and think that I'm obligated to tell you a thing about what's going on in my sex life, my love life, or anything else. I think that this is just crazy that Tiffany is stirring this kind of bullshit because it's Tiffany who's stirring it. And y'all know I asked my bestie, and my bestie told me. She's sitting up there in marriage counseling. She's sitting up there going back through her past, about her past relationships and how they was controlling. If you think he's controlling, he's controlling. You don't need a magician, a therapist, or anybody else to tell you what your gut is telling you. What the spirit man that lives inside of you, whether you know it's a spirit man or not. You don't need nobody else to tell you but that spirit man. For me, I call it my spirit woman, which is in my gut. I don't need you to tell me if somebody feels like they are invading my space, my personal space, and not allowing me to be free. Fuck that. I don't need a therapist to tell me that. I don't need a therapist to tell me that. She knows that this man is too much. He is overstepping his bounds over and over and over and over and over again. He is, y'all. He is. It's too much. She can't even breathe. She can't do anything. She can't go anywhere. Let me do a poll real quick. Let me see how y'all feel about it. Start a poll, Auntie. Okay, here go the poll. It's a simple yes or no. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all tell me what y'all think. So far, we got 15 votes, and it is 100% yes. We'll get to 20 because it's only 400 people out here. So we'll get to 20. So somebody came in and said no just for the sake of saying no. You know what? It's always somebody in the crowd, bitch, that's going to hit that and be that 1%, just enough for it not to be 100%. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, we up to 26 votes. I'll let y'all continue to vote. So what, somebody done took their vote back now? We're gonna talk about the after show. We just gotta do it tomorrow. I gotta go to bed. Tamika said the no is a controlling person and they know it. Okay. So I'm gonna end the poll right there at 27 votes. And it was overwhelmingly that Colt is controlling at 96%. That's 96% out of 27 votes. Only 3% said no. And I would hate to know what their life is like because ain't no way in the world you're going to tell me he's not controlling. In my opinion, when you have somebody who is going to someone that you're dating, and this is an open dating show, there has been no commitment made between the two of them. No verbal commitment, no exchange of blood, no nothing. Like none of that stuff has happened, right? And you have this person that is going to the person you're dating and asking them, have they had sex with you? A person that's going up on your old boyfriend and making, allegations and wanting to know whether or not Tim ever slept with her after Tim already said he never slept with her. He speaks and he doesn't. Twyla. I think she thought she heard something. It's okay. Good girl. Good girl. You so the protector. But anyway, so they go to this little counseling session and everything, right? And of course I had to take notes on it because I really wanted to understand what was going on in this, right? And so she says, how did you all have a good night? I did the job. So they was like, yeah, me too. Lots of rest. Yes, yesterday was pretty intense. So the counselor asked, how are you guys feeling this morning after processing through what went down very publicly yesterday? And so Jen says it was kind of a revelation. I just realized how everybody was actually thinking about me and all the things that they had to say to me. And I don't know if I felt a little hurt. I think that after the overly dramatic workshop that we had yesterday, it made me reevaluate a couple of things. And looking at Rob, I can see that he loves to be outside of the drama. And he just makes me feel very comfortable and makes me feel that I want to spend time with him. But then I have always had a feeling for Cole, more of a feeling for Cole than Rob. Right now, Cole is my main interest here, and I feel a little disappointed in him. And I hope that this meeting would allow us to clear things up. She said, what was specifically hurtful to you? She said, I think that everybody is so focused on what is happening with my love life. And it's like they're just making assumptions. Like if Rob doesn't come out to a party and I don't go to a party, then there's rumors that maybe we're hanging out together. We're here to meet new people. Now, Jen, it may not be all the time, but bitch, y'all been hanging out together. We got the footage. But again, there's nothing wrong with it because both of them were fully clothed and they was just chilling. And sometimes it's through adversity that you end up finding yourself bonding with somebody that normally you may not have. Sometimes when you cause all that controversy and strife, you draw people together that normally would have given up on each other on their own. She had already made a decision the week prior to, or at least the episode prior to, that she was going to back off Rob anyway because she found out that Rob was still married and she wasn't sure whether or not Rob was going to be attached. Now here you got her going back to Rob because of all of the bullshit that's going on amongst the cast. That's not minding their goddamn business. Mind your business, boo. So she said, so Cole, are you having a hard time with watching Jen? Are you having a hard time watching Jen go around with other people? Like, let's just put it out there. Is this something you can handle? Because it's obvious it's not something that he can handle. She said, you having problems with him forming connections with other people, specifically Rob. So Cole says, I don't want to see it, especially because I think we have two different perspectives where she's dating around. For me, I have a different mindset where I'm genuinely like this. I genuinely like this girl and I'm going to put my everything into it. I have to feel that I know we're starting to develop something for each other, some feelings that she's developing feelings for me. But sometimes it's like, uh, um, she said, so Jen was like, sometimes I feel like he's pushing me away because he's too obsessive and possessive with me, right? She said he's becoming super jealous and like controlling. She said, I went through a very difficult process in my past relationships with my ex-husband, and they will always put me inside of a cage. She said, like in my past relationship, I couldn't even leave my house with that goddamn Jesse Meester. She said, so it's an immediate trigger for you then, right? And she was like, and okay. She said, yeah, because it's like it's the same thing over and over again. I don't know why men get like that. Probably because I don't know. But I will say something, but I ain't gonna say nothing. Okay. Um, she said they wanted to control the way she dressed, the friends she talked to, the places that she went, everything. And she said, and so a couple of things that Cole has done has shown her a couple of red flags from the beginning. She said he do get some qualities that I want from a potential partner, but he also got a whole lot of red flags. And I'm gonna tell you right now, red flags make me stop dead in my tracks. Some people don't; they run to them and expect to run through them, but so she said that's the reason why she had been holding off from giving him a kiss. And she said, the other night they was together, nothing really happened like sexual. But she said her and Rob never made out. She's a goddamn lie. She's a lie. Hold on, y'all. So of course, we got Tim sitting outside and he's having a conversation. Anyway, they long to the short of it, ain't nothing resolved because she's still with them. And so, we later on have Tim sitting out with Tiffany, and he's talking about, his connection and everything to Elise, and thinking that Elise is a good person and all of that kind of stuff. And they was talking about, how people really getting jealous and stuff like that. And what else did I write? So Rob came up, right? I think it was Rob. I think Rob came up. Wait a minute, hold on. So it just was a whole bunch of, again, a whole bunch of other cash shenanigans and stuff like that. I think that, Jennifer likes to play around. There was some things that happened on the after show, so that's why I'm gonna cover it tomorrow, because there was some very insightful things, some things that we did not see, and some conversations that were had about a lot of the cast members. If you can refrain, please don't put spoilers down in the comment section. Let other people be able to be, just as surprised if they have not seen the show or anything. I usually try not to say anything about that, y'all, but don't put spoilers in the comment section. Wait until tomorrow. Okay, talk about what we did see and that on the after show, because I will be talking about the after show. I usually don't cover it, but I thought that this one was pretty good. And so we are going to be talking about some of that stuff. But I thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to all of you who participated in the poll. I really do appreciate when y'all do that, right? Tamika said, let me go and watch the after show. Yeah, go watch that after show. We're gonna talk about it. Um, Thank you, Terry. Terry said, I'll wait for your lives, Auntie. Okay. But we're going to be talking about that. I'll talk to y'all about that tomorrow. But today, I really, wanted to have a conversation about Tiffany. And I know I had mentioned it last week in my review, but I'm just going to talk about it for a quick hot second, y'all. I swear I ain't going to hold y'all, because my ass need to be in the bed by 9. I love y'all so much. And until we meet again, y'all be safe out there in those streets, and let me know downtown in the replay what you thought about this episode. Bye, y'all.